contracting at a lower level in case it's been injured. So if you have an injury, you can't contract a muscle greatly, can you? When I said this is also part of the PNF, proprioception, so personal trainers will use PNF to, do you use PNF? Yeah. So you'll contract, get the client to contract how much percentage?
About 70%.
70% effort, because there's no injury, so they can contract. But the beauty of MET is that we can initiate a contraction in a milder form of contraction in an injured muscle group. Because remember, when you're injured, you can't actually contract that much. But at least we can stimulate something, can't we? You're right like that?
Yeah.
So what we want to do is, let's imagine it's his hamstring that's tight. Well, it might be. So you relax completely for me there, Martin. So I'm going to take him to the point of bind. And the point of bind is basically where he feels that's enough. Notice he put his hand up, so that's enough, Kate. All right? So what's happened there? What's kicked in? Spindles. They're going stop. Now, my client wants to increase his range of motion, okay? Because actually your normal range should be here. Okay, let's just compare the other side, shall we? Relax for me. About the same. It's about the same. Okay, so we go to the point of bind. We've now asked the spindles to kick in. Are we there? So the point of bind is where you feel you just can't go any further. I ease off from the point of bind. You relax completely. Now I'm going to ask him to contract the muscle that is tight. And you're going to push down against my shoulder, and it's not injured, is it?
No.
If it was injured, 20%. Because he's not injured, I'm going to get him to do 50%. So contract the muscle that I want to stretch down. Now this contraction is now exciting all the nerve endings, the motor sensory nerves, sending information, going, what's going on, what's going on? The GTO in the tendon is, wait, stay there. We've got to hold it for 8 to 12 seconds is the research. Is that okay?
Yeah. Do you want me to contract now?
Yeah, contract 50% effort. And make sure the client's breathing constantly. Breathing in, breathing out. So we're now waiting for this is enough time for the GTO to start waking up and going, what is going on? Big breath in. This is the time we want to go for it. As we breathe out, we go to a new position. How does that feel, Martin? Okay. So this is without warm-up. Relax. So we've got a little bit of new position there, haven't we? Contract. How much effort for the non-injured client? 50, good. If it was injured? 20%. Contract against me. So I'm contracting the muscle that is tight. That's initiating a response. Okay, now the information now is going towards the GTO at the tendon. All right, saying what is going on, 8 to 12 seconds, big breath in. As you breathe out, relax at the joint. Look at this. Look at that. Now that's without massage. Stay there. I'm not going to do it anymore. I could do this up to 3 times. But that's great, isn't it? I'm getting him back. Or heading. Yeah, look, you're surprised that you can even do that. The last stretch I would hold for up to 30, 45 seconds because that's trying now to reset the muscle spindles. So it's telling the body, do you know what? You can stay in that position without injury. In terms of how long that lasts for you, a couple of hours. But that couple of hours is fine. And you know in training, the more you stretch, the more flexible you become. Would you agree with that? You know, you do that stretch or a hamstring stretch and all of a sudden it starts becoming much easier because you've trained spindles and GTO. And it's those neural pathways that we're trying to connect with. So for the non-injured client, 80, 95% contraction. For the injured, and this is where it fits in with our modalities, is to be able to offer MET. Now the beauty of this is, if the client had damaged significantly his hamstring, he wouldn't be able to contract it. Would you agree with that? But it still means he's got a debilitation at the joint. So what we can do is something called reciprocal inhibition. Does anyone have any idea what that is? So reciprocal inhibition is basically contracting the antagonist muscle of the injured muscle. Antagonist? Tell me what that is.
Opposing muscle.
Opposing muscle. Now why would that help with a stretch of the injured muscle?
If that one tightens, the other one lengthens.
Yes, it has to happen, doesn't it? You contract one muscle group, the opposite muscle has to relax. That's just the way the body works. So I could just ask my client, Martin, to just strengthen his quad, to tense it, look what happens. He'll get a mild stretch. That might be the first phase that you do with the client. So you can combine a bit of reciprocal inhibition with the one I did initially, is called post-isometric contraction, which is just the form of, I'll put this up on the board, don't worry, is the one that we did initially. Hamstring damaged, I want to try and engage more information. Should we have a go at that on each other? And then obviously this is